So today going to be a video that's been highly requested and I'm quite late, and it's going to be my recent reads. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is this one, and it was written by Italo Calvino, and it's about and in Italian it's called Il visconte dimezzato, I suppose. I really enjoyed this book. It was my first time reading anything by this author, even though he's very, very famous, even in France, and I quite appreciated it. It's very short and it's very entertaining. It's very witty and sort of sarcastic. It's a little bit of a strange humor that really got me. So if you're looking for something that's a bit surprising and a bit like different, I would highly suggest this book. Then I read this one, which is La Curée by Zola, and I was not really expecting anything from that book when I picked it up at the bookstore. I was like, okay, the one I wanted was not here, was not there, so I just picked this one up instead, and oh my god, I'm so glad I did, because this is probably like, I don't know, it's really hard to pick favorites, and why do we have to pick favorites? But just to emphasize how much I love this book, it might be my favorite by Zola so far. It is highly sensual, highly poetic, highly artistic, highly subtle, highly elegant. You can smell, you can sense, you can touch, you can feel, you can hear, and I don't know, the story is really interesting as well. It is a love story, I'm not gonna lie, it is a love story, but it's a very interesting one, it's a very beautiful one, and Zola is so amazing at writing. Like, how can you do that? Like, the sensations are just so real and raw and vivid. And then you're thinking, oh, that's going to happen, that's obviously going to happen, and then you're like, oh, that's not going to happen, is it going to happen? And you're just like, you're never sure, because he writes so well that he makes you doubt every single thing. And then I read La confession d'un enfant du siècle by Alfred de Musset, and I'm so surprised and like, what? Because I had never read that book before. It's a huge classic, but like, I had never read it. I guess I had a sort of image of Musset that's probably not that accurate. I was not really thinking of him as a good, like, of course as a good writer, but not as a writer that I would appreciate and enjoy, and I was wrong, because this book was amazing. I just really loved that book. I thought there were many interesting things. That's also a love story, but it's not really a love story. The main material for that is a love story, but I think there's so much more to this book, and it's very surprising, because I feel like there are a lot of feminists like notions and ideas and little things in this book, and that's so real, that's so smart and intelligent, honestly. Like, that's a very intelligent book. I think many foreigners don't really know about Musset that much, but yeah, you should try reading that. Okay, then I read this one, Le crépuscule des dieux de la steppe, which means the twilight maybe of the eastern gods or something like that, and it's written by Kadaré. It was my first time reading anything by him, and oh, that was really good. They have, I don't know, something about Eastern Europe is so nostalgic, and so the atmosphere is strong. Like, it is really strong. The story is really interesting, and yet nothing really happens. That's a really good book, and I don't think many people have read things that come from Albany. Is that how you say it in English? I think. So that would be a big suggestion for me as well. Then I read this one, which is fairly famous, and it's written by Sandor Marai. I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry, even though it's Hungarian, and I love Hungary, as you probably know. I like this book, but not as much as this one. This one was a bit more, like, I enjoyed it's weird, but I enjoyed reading that book more than I did enjoy reading that book. But thinking about it now, I like this book better for like the depth and the insights and just the whole story and stuff. But this book is really interesting too if you're wanting to start with some Eastern European literature. It was a bit sad. I did like this book, but it was also not a really positive book. Okay, then I read this one, which is Watermark, an essay on Venice by Brodsky, and this was recommended by a lovely friend of mine, to whom I still haven't replied, so I'm so sorry if you're watching this. So sorry. This is really cool because I love Venice. Like, I've been to Venice 3 times, I think, and I just love the city and I miss the city. I'd like to go back every single year. Venice really has something very, very special and specific about it that I just cannot get enough of. And you can find like this little touch of something special in that book. It is a very short read and it's like very big, so that's really easy to read. I did enjoy the book because it was about Venice. I think the writing was interesting as well, but it was definitely not my favorite book. Okay, then I read this one, which is not fiction. It's called The Ethics of Diet, a Catena of Authorities Deprecatory of the Practice of Flesh Eating, and it's by Howard Williams. And that's basically just like extracts and explanations and summaries of the works or ideas or philosophies of many different people throughout history that were vegetarian. And this was written in the 19th century, so you don't find anyone that was post Howard Williams, or like the 20th or the 21st century. But that's so interesting, and you realize how much there is about veganism, vegetarianism, how many authors, how many thinkers, scientists talked about it, wrote about it, like serious stuff that doesn't get talked about, like that gets no recognition whatsoever, that you never get told about in uni or that kind of stuff, no matter what you're studying. Like, I'm a student, I'm a literature student, and I can tell you we never talk about that kind of things, even when we study Voltaire and Rousseau, even though they wrote about it like at length and depth. So that's really interesting, and I'm writing like, you know, a master dissertation on vegetarianism in the European literature of the 19th century, so that's highly useful for me. And then I also read this one, which is called The Sexual Politics of Meat, a feminist vegetarian critical theory, and it's written by Carol G. Adams. Highly interesting book. I also read it because of my master dissertation. I'm not done yet. There's a lot of interesting stuff in here, and that's highly inspiring. Okay, so that was it. That was my recent reads video. I hope this was interesting. Let me know what you've been reading, guys, and I shall see you later. Bye!